and I'm the teacher. First I'm gonna crawl, then I'm gonna walk, then I'm gonna stand, then I'm gonna talk. But I gotta learn in order to teach, then I'm gonna burn.
Hello, everybody. I am again post-workout. By the way, I had an idea that you can experiment with. For example, if I had a good session, I trained well, and I got a bit of sweat, a bit of heartbeat gone up, and then afterwards I always make sure to do some shaking. Maybe one day I will make a video about the shaking only, and then I do some stillness, which means after the shaking I just go down on the floor and close my eyes, and for 5 to 10 minutes I just breathe. I don't give any more information, just breathe. And then afterwards you will notice that the ideas come into your mind automatically. Yeah. Also your mindset is different, you become more loving. For example, I always, of course before Corona crisis, I always made sure that I go afterwards walk and do some shopping, and then I see people differently. I'm more loving, I have more patience, and this state of mind is very important, or I like it. You have a different state of mind. That's why training and movement is very fundamental, and it is essential because it makes you eventually a better human being. For example, people that don't move, they're out there, their mind is completely differently shaped. Yeah, they look at things very differently, and most of the time they can fall into a depression. Not everybody, of course, because you have still people that don't move, that have some pursuit that they do that gives them the same input. So there are many ways to the same thing. It's not I'm not claiming there is only one way, but movement is a hell of a good way because you engage your mind and your body. Yes, I spent many years studying in college and blah 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 and working, which was only the mind. It is nice, of course, if you pursue the intellectual, you can go in a rabbit hole. And before that I did a lot with my body, but I never engaged the two. I never made the connection between the two until in my later ages I discovered, well, movement and has an intellectual component. It has. It's not only for monkeys, that do tricks and stuff. So that's that. Talking about the tricks, today I did a different session. It's almost becoming summer again, so my body is craving acrobatics. The love I never abandoned it. Some people think I do a lot of strength, so I don't do acrobatics. No, completely wrong. I have it in the back of my mind all the time. But you have to create the right conditions, because right now there is no gymnastic center. Yeah, and I am in my heart a minimalist. To be really honest, if I go to gymnastic center, I get a bit nervous. You know why? Because if you go to a trampoline, you get these people jump from all over the place. Yeah, or children, they see you, especially me. I don't know what they have with children, but I'm some kind of a magnet. So I go and they follow me. If I go to the rings, they follow me to the rings. If I go to the trampoline, all of a sudden they also want to go to trampoline. So it's a bit of disturbing. This I cannot focus, and acrobatics is dangerous. But even though I may now sound quite arrogant, but it's just my humble opinion. It's actually the truth. Acrobatics is actually not that hard, especially if you train in a gymnastic center. Let me explain why. In a gymnastic center, I have seen you can have very nice progressions. They have lots of tools that you can learn to back handspring and to do a flip. Of course, you have to get the repetitions in and stuff, and you have to get over the fear. But these tools are actually helping you to get over the fear, a lot of the fear. So I discovered quickly, I can learn this actually fast. It's not that fundamental actually. For an outsider, it may seem very impressive, but I noticed strength and mobility to develop these things is way more harder. So I immediately made the switch. No. This I can get easy, but this is very personal. I have to get over a bit of fear, and I can approach it gradually and nicely. But the strength is very difficult to get it right. So, but still, I want to find ways to approach acrobatics in an intelligent approach with somebody that doesn't have that have zero acrobatic background. So the worst thing to do is to learn from an acrobat that has done it all his life and that doesn't have any teaching abilities. He will say, "Do this, you do this." You know, he does it all his life. I have trained with such a person. He was a nice guy, but you couldn't get much out of him in education. He said, and he was doing, back handsprings all the time, but because he did them as a child, he has learned them and he do them all the time, but I couldn't learn anything, so it's not interesting for me anymore. So he says, "Hey, look, always, to people, but I couldn't learn. Yes, I look, but I don't learn anything from it." So I learned, for example, the backflip. I learned actually quite fast because I had a good vertical jump and there was a good a coach, a Russian coach, the old school guy. He told me, "You have a good jump, you can do it," and I got it in actually within a week. Within a week, I jumped and I just went for it. You have mattress, it's not like going outside. So I got it and I realized, wow, this stuff you can get it very fast actually. So I try to find ways how to approach this back world. For example, I want to learn the back handspring, the gymnastic one, also the capoeira one, they call the macaco. But I'm not impressed actually by it, even though I cannot do it. So that's why I tell it may sound arrogant. I'm not impressed because I realized I know how to approach it and I can do it in my mind. The only thing is I don't have the history of acrobatics, but it doesn't matter. So I developed this as a side project. When the summer comes, I start to, opening my thoracic spine and the bridge and doing dangerous stuff, but actually with an intelligent approach. So I never go, over the line and just go for a move without any proper preparation. So today actually in my workout I did a lot of bridging work, because again the bridge is like the handstand or like the squat. It's a door opener. It opens a whole new world to this world of back handsprings, macacos, how do you call au cortado or au reversal. In capoeira I noticed they have different names according to different styles. So the one calls it like this, other calls it like this, but it doesn't matter. We talk about this movement. So I'm not interested in these separate movements. I just like the challenge of learning how to learn. So I learn the fundamentals, which is the bridge. You should have a good bridge, especially if you start in later age. I started when I was around 30 years of age. I have zero acrobatic background. So that's also another point. You should not compare yourself to somebody that has a background. Somebody, for example, has in a capoeira, what he says, it can be true, but not all of it. You should take it with a grain of salt. Yes? Because learning something from child on is different than learning when you are fully developed. So you have to give your body the time and spend time more in fundamentals. For example, you want to learn macaco, nice, you want to learn the bridge first. Learn this world and give the time, because I learned it the hard way. I wanted to do it fast, learn the bridge, but if you do it too fast, you will have all pain in your spine, which is not good. So, because of the tinkering approach, I noticed, you should not do it too much. Yeah? And which means your progress will go slow, but at least you will progress. It's not like someone that gets completely injured because he went to do something very dangerous and then he has no progress at all. Yes, so spend time in the fundamentals is the message of this video. You do the fundamentals, you approach it nicely. For example, you see a mattress behind me. in the videos where I do the training, you will see why I use it. I was learning the kipa, but the door opener is the bridge. If you have the bridge and you have mobility inside it, again, you should be able to move in and out of it. Yes, that's also very fundamental. Not only having a bridge in a static position, no, you should be able to move in and out of it. Because no matter how good you have a static bridge, in movement it will be revealed that you don't have also the fluidity, also the speed. You will notice, for example, if you do a rotation into bridge, you can improve it. If you have a good eye, you will see, for example, in certain point, your speed drops or it goes fast, you know? So this, I call it the megapixel. You should be very sensitive to the quality of the movement and understand why. Why you have, you know, skipping in the movement. Yeah, tick, tick, tick. Yeah, you see why somebody has a fluid motion and why the other person has skipping in his motion. Yeah, and for this you should learn how to learn. Yeah, so I encourage also my students, as a surprise, I don't teach my students any acrobatics or any fancy movement. I teach them strength, mobility. The other I give them as extra homework. And you may be surprised, they learn also that stuff. Yeah, of course, if we are together, we can practice together. But when you spend time on the fundamentals, and you approach it gradually, you will notice the body wants more and can do more. Yeah, so this is actually the listening to the body. You notice what you can and what you cannot do. For example, right now, I stated bluntly, I am learning this to be able to do the macaco, to be able to do the back handspring, to be able to do the owl, all the moves that are in the bridging, because I know, again, my fear, my original fear lies there, so I should go there. I should go to my fear. Yeah, and I stated beforehand, now I don't have all the skills, the keep up and the keep up from the ground to the floor I can do, but the reverse one again has to do with the bridge. I cannot do. So I stated, this is my project. Again, long term. I don't think for 1 day or 2 days. Right now, I kept my workout short, very short and intense, and because I know a year has 365 days. Yeah, you don't go for 1 day and then the other day you don't do anything. Eh? Many are like this. They want to do everything and then they go down. No, take your time, especially with acrobatics. Yeah, so that you don't get injured. So thank you very much for this video. I have an extra thing. I noticed my analytics of YouTube and I saw that I have almost 80% of people that watch these videos, which is very fine, but they are not subscribed. So only 20% of the people are subscribed. So please, if you watch this video and you get your enjoyment out of it, subscribe to the channel. Give me some love. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
And I'm the teacher.